Coin toss. We didn't cover this last week. Pretty straightforward. You're going to have the referee and the umpire. Referee is always going to be facing the scoreboard when they do the coin toss. Wing officials, line judge, linesman, you'll come in on your respective 50-yard lines. I don't know why this diagram is showing the 45. You'll be coming in on the 50-yard line with your captains. No more than 4 captains. They can have their, helmets on or off or whatever, but bring them out. 50-yard line. You and as the line judge or you as the linesman will stop at the hash. So come to the hash, parade rest like we talked about with the timeouts, and then bring a kicking ball with you. So that way, whoever's kicking, whoever loses, however the coin toss works its way out, the team that's kicking, we have their ball on the field already. So linesman, line judge, bring a kicking ball, come out on the 50s, stop at the hash. So for free kicks, this is going to be our kickoff. I'm not going to go through all those point by point. We can go back and pause it on the playback. But line judge, you've got the restraining line for the receivers. So unless it's moved by penalty, that'll be the 50. Linesman, you've got the line for the kicking team. So unless moved by penalty, that's going to be the 40. Okay, so you've got the kickers. Line judge, you've got the receivers. Umpire will be on the linesman side of the field. This diagram shows the 20. It could be, 25, 30, depending on the formation, how deep they're going to kick. A lot of middle school games, they're lucky to kick it from the 40 to the other 40. So the referee may move the umpire up to the 30 or even the 35-yard line if we just have a bunch of squib kicks. And then the referee will be inside the field, probably between the numbers and the hash on the line judge's side. So we're going to flip the field and kind of talk about the coverage areas, and that's what these are going to be is areas and zones. So linesman, line judge, you're going to have out of bounds the whole way from pylon to pylon. But as you can kind of see, if the ball comes into the referee's area, they'll cover the ball and then pass it off to the line judge or the linesman. Same with the umpire, and they pass it off on the return upfield. So if we've got, kick is off, it's caught, returned around the 10-yard line, the umpire would drop back and trail up the field. Line judge and linesman, you're floating downfield about 10 yards or so, maybe 15, and then expecting that return. If they get past you, you're trailing that all the way to the goal line. Once we've got the tackle, the umpire is going to come into the field. The referee is going to come in. We're going to close down on this. We're really going to cover that dead ball spot, especially if it's in between the hashes. And then the linesman and line judge are going to come down, mark the end of the run, get the chain set up. If we have an onside kick, and your referee will let you know, we're in onside kick coverage, the only change to this is the umpire is going to move up to the restraining line for the receivers. So linesman, you're in the same spot. Line judge, you're in the same spot. Umpire is going to come up to the 50, again, unless moved by penalty, and we're going to double up the line of the receivers. That's the most important line for the free onside kick. We see our umpires moved up there. Big thing in this situation, but also just to keep in mind on free kicks, we should have bean bags in our hands. Okay, so especially when we're covering onside, but just always get in the habit of a bean bag in your hand and be ready. That bean bag is going to mark the spot if the kicking team touches the ball before it goes the required 10 yards. So that would be a first touching by K. So if we have a first touching by K, we're just going to beanbag that spot. We don't blow it dead. We let the play continue on until it's completed, but just drop a beanbag on that.
When we're contemplating the possibility of an onside kick, it's not public knowledge. We should treat that as such so that we don't talk about, hey, get ready for an onside kick. Especially if one of the, let's say the head linesman or line judge are closer to where the kicking team is, and they know we don't want to have a head linesman blowing it for the other team if they detect that there's lining up for that. Now, in that case, should we talk about maybe signals to each other silently so that we don't give it away? Now, usually late in the game and you're trailing, you assume, but we've all seen games start with an onside kick. So for goodness sakes, if you happen to know, don't yell it out at your partner. I mean, you don't realize that, but we definitely don't want to do that. We're giving away a trust, you might say, that a coach would not appreciate.
Yeah, so what Lynn's talking about, if you're in around the sideline huddle and you hear a coach talk about, a short kick or an onside kick, keep that to yourself, because you don't want to tip off the other team if it's a surprise onside kick. And that kind of goes back to the point of having a beanbag. We could have an onside kick on the opening kick of the game. Exactly. Where we don't have the umpire or no other officials that are covering it. We're just in regular coverage with the umpire back at the 20 or the 30-yard line.
Well, on all these plays, we're going to have beanbag in our hand.
Exactly. So go ahead, both line judge and linesman, when you're covering K and R's line, go ahead and have a beanbag in your hand, be ready, because that onside or that squibber can come at any point in time.
And in middle school, you may get an accidental onside kick.
But again, just to reiterate, when we throw that beanbag, it's not a whistle. Okay, we're just like a flag. We officiate the play to its conclusion. So just beanbag that spot of first touching, and then let the play continue.